Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my wonderful sweet babies, it's Destin Troyce, and for today's video I really wanted to get on here and speak about the epidemic of human trafficking. Now as we all know, over 500,000 kids go missing every single year in just America alone. And of course the media never talks about it because of course the media is too busy talking about this virus that's clearly bullshit, which of course it's real, but we all know it's being overhyped into something that it's really not. But it's funny how all we hear about nowadays is just the pandemic and the vaccine that nobody wants to fucking take. People try to make it seem like that just because we're in the middle of a pandemic, human trafficking numbers have gone down significantly because apparently everybody's inside and all the kids are homeschooled, which is complete bullshit. And let me just say that a lot of people mentally checked out of the pandemic 4 months in. When kids go missing, no one ever fucking cares or talks about it. I remember back in the day, we would always see kids on the milk cartons, right? If you guys are old enough, you guys would know kids used to be on the milk cartons whenever they go missing. Nowadays, you don't see that shit anymore. People don't waste their time putting up posters because people don't even want to snitch. People don't run their mouth and say what they saw, who they know, because people are scared of being sucked into these kind of things. So in most cases, when kids go missing, kids end up going missing. And they usually say that when your kid is missing for more than 48 hours, they're either being human trafficked or they're either dead.
But to a certain extent, I think it's very important that we hold parents accountable because believe it or not, most human trafficking victims and most people who are actually abducted, most of them are actually runaways, believe it or not. And I feel like if we don't hold parents accountable, we're missing the bigger picture here. A lot of these kids that run away from home are actually leaving home because their parents are either 1, abusive as fuck, they're being molested at home, or 3, their parents are neglectful and don't give them any attention. Now, don't get me wrong, I get that sometimes it's difficult to be a parent, but a lot of these kids who really run away, get abducted, and get forced into human trafficking, a lot of times it'd be the parents' fault because they don't be doing their job as parents to make sure that their kids feel safe, secure, fine, and safe at all. So I want to talk about this particular situation right here where a young girl basically ran away from home, where, by the way, this was 3 weeks ago, and at first I thought this was just a girl who just got snatched up in a car somewhere, but this is a girl who actually ran away at 12 years old.
Is pleading for her safe return.
That's right. As you can imagine, Riley, 12-year-old Christina Cochran's parents are worried about her, and so are police. In fact, they called in the FBI to help with the search. Her mom and dad say because she's so young, she's vulnerable, and they just want her home. 12-year-old Christina Cochran was last seen by family on Garrard Avenue near Chatham Parkway around 7 p.m. on May 17th. She's 5'4", weighs 140 pounds. Last seen wearing a pink and black shirt with flames, jeans with green lettering, and a long ponytail. Chatham County Police, along with the Savannah Board of Education, police hit the pavement at Savannah Gardens Apartments, passing out over 150 flyers and talking to dozens of residents in hopes of finding Christina. She is considered to be a runaway, and repeated efforts to find her and confirm that she's okay have been unsuccessful. Her mom had this message for her daughter.
Please, Christina, come home. You're not in no trouble. We just want you to show up, you know, so we can put hands on you and know that you're okay and safe and sound. You can call home, you can text me, whatever you want to do, but we need to know where your whereabouts are so you can come home, baby. We love you.
Christina's mother was joined by her father and the family's pastor.
I hope the girl makes it home, but I really want people to investigate the parents and figure out why these kids are running away from home. A lot of these girls that get abducted, kidnapped, pressured into human trafficking, or just go missing, a lot of them really are runaways, and I want people to start investigating these parents and figuring out why these kids feel so unsafe and uncomfortable at home to where they gotta run out in the streets. I just don't get it. So let's be honest here. We can say that these human traffickers ain't shit, but what are these parents doing? Are these parents talking to their kids? Are these parents educating their kids? Secondly, I don't really like the fact that a lot of parents are out here giving their kids way too much damn freedom.
Young adults are the most vulnerable because people who were like 16, 17, 18 years old, those are typically people who are trying to look for a summer job. They're just out of high school or school's out, summer's on, and they're looking for a job so that way they can stack up money over the summer before they go back to school. A lot of times, human traffickers will put these little posters everywhere that say you can make $80, $60, $100 a day. All you gotta do is show up. When you show up, call this number and we'll pay you. And a lot of times they give no description, no address, no company, no LLC, none of that stuff. People just show up to these things, call that number, and before you know it, people are kidnapped, snatched up, chopped into a million pieces and thrown into a van. One thing about human trafficking that a lot of people don't know is human trafficking is low-key like a pyramid scheme.
Now, a good example is this. I came across a YouTube video where a woman by the name of Tony Rivera went on a show, and she basically described how she used to help abduct teenage girls and help human traffickers recruit women. And basically she gave out a lot of tips on how a lot of teenage girls were always targeted and all the methods she used to use to target teenage girls.
What's the difference between recruiting and kidnapping?
It's not.
So it's the same.
It's the same. It's the same.
Even once you talk to them and they willingly go with you, that's still considered kidnapping.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're gonna want to go home, and you're gonna hit them with the brainwash technique. That's what we call it.
Okay.
How did that work?
You owe me.
Really?
You owe me. And my stomping grounds for recruitment was churches.
Oh wow.
Wow, churches.
Oh yeah. That was my place of interest.
How would you approach somebody?
How would you approach?
How would you approach somebody at church?
You just go home. You go to church every Sunday. Do your homework on that person, that one person. You see her or him going up to the altar Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. You know he's going for something. He's praying for something. And usually I had my times where I would do my recruiting. It's called shopping season. So I would go during Christmas, during Thanksgiving.
And what would you look
Halloween.
for? Because we're trying to teach here.
Yeah.
What would you look for specifically?
The week.
The week. How would you be able to?
know? Yeah.
Just conversation, having conversation with them. Come up to him, yo, or her, yo, you good? What you I see you going up to the altar a lot. Just making small talk. She's going to tell me eventually what she want, what she praying for. Like I say, the shopping seasons, Easter time, you're either praying for that money for your spring break, that prom dress. You want something. Your mom need help with the bills, something. So I'm going to present it to you.
So you provided that thing that they were praying for.
But once you try to leave, you owe me. Sex trafficking, you're going to do it. You ain't getting paid for it. More than likely, you're going to be going from state to state, town to town. You're going to be in a stable. You're going to be on track.
You're being held against your will.
You're held against your will.
Right. It's pretty much in prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Considering that, a lot of people will do everything they can to get their hands on you if they're willing to sell you. There's people who literally will pretend to be your Uber driver, pretend to be your taxi cab, and they will do everything in their power to make sure to get you in their car. Once they get you in their car, most people don't look in the back seat. There's somebody in the back seat, they tranquilize you, they choke you, and then before you know it, you're passed out and you're on your way to a foreign country being sold off for marital reasons. And they sell products for self-defense on Amazon. I don't mean to make anybody paranoid, but you kind of have to always watch your back and make sure you're safe. If you're someone that walks alone or you always walk to your car at night after work, you got to make sure you have something to protect yourself. Rather it's pepper spray, a pocket knife, cat's claw, anything. A pocket knife is completely legal. Pepper spray is completely legal depending on what country you live in. And a stun gun, in a lot of cases, is completely legal. Or you could take a self-defense class, but I mean, come on, who got time for that? If you're anything like me, because fun fact, I can't fight at all. I fight like a little bitch. So since I can't fight, I carry all these things. But what I really recommend for a lot of you guys who can't get access to these things, if you don't want to buy them on Amazon, you can go to your local hardware store or you can go to your local camper store and you can get you some bear spray. I highly recommend this. Only bring it if you're going somewhere where you feel like you're going to be in danger. Get you some fucking bear spray. That shit will fuck somebody up. It'll fuck up anybody in the vicinity and it'll give you a chance to run. You just spray any bitch nearby and everybody going down. Everybody choking, everybody getting blind. And if a human trafficker get near me, I'm not about to fight. I don't believe in putting my hands on people's kids. So at the end of the day, if someone gets near me, tries to kidnap me, I'm just going to fuck them up with my bear spray and touch them with my bear spray. And then they're going to get fucked up and they're going to get blind and they're not going to be able to see anymore. So I'm good. They'll think twice before they try to touch somebody ever again. So that's just my recommendation. But if you're scared and you know you don't want to hurt people, you could just buy one of these little alarms right here. Like, it'll give you ample opportunity to run. All you got to do is pull the cord, throw it, and then it'll ring loud as hell and give you time to run and get help.
This up to your ear, hands go where there's pain, right?
Yeah.
So instinctively your hand would come off and cover your ear, just to let you know what it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
And it's not that, oh my God, that's the scariest sound I've ever heard. It's bad guys don't want an audience.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, forget this, and probably take off.
Most people only care about their own ego, their own self-awareness, and their own well-being, and they can give two fucks about yours. So, human traffickers a lot of times have no empathy at all. They're narcissistic pieces of shit, and believe it or not, we live in a world where narcissism is taken over. There are even some instances where a lot of people will sell their kids in human trafficking just so that human trafficker can sell that kid to another family that can't even have kids. It gets deeper than that. Sometimes a lot of these kids will be sold as young as literally 5 months into human trafficking, and they'll be coerced into sex.
So here's how the Nationwide Crackdown worked. We're showing you raw video taken by the FBI as agents and their local police partners are searching through dating apps, websites, looking for women who they're described to me as looking young. Undercover agents often arrange to meet with the women, and that is when arrests are made and those children, thankfully, are given over to given services to help them recover. Now, aside from the 3 kids rescued in Atlanta, another child was also rescued in Augusta. 3 men arrested in Atlanta under allegations they traveled to the area to meet with a minor for sex. 58 people were arrested in the metro area in total, and that includes several women arrested and charged with prostitution. Here are the mugshots of 4 women who Atlanta police arrested. And this is all part of a nationwide FBI operation. In all, 84 kids were rescued nationwide. More than 120 alleged traffickers were arrested. And Vinny, this is hard to say. The youngest child rescued was in Denver, Colorado. The girl, only 3 months old.
You know, it's stuff like this that make me really think. The older I get, the more grateful I become that my parents never let me do any sleepovers. I was never allowed to sleep at anybody's house. I was never allowed to hang out with people. And my parents didn't let me do shit. And now I see why, because of shit like this. And even though my parents were too damn strict, at least I could say I was protected. My parents did not play that shit at all. They were very strict. When it came down to going to a friend's house, going to a sleepover, the answer was always no, no, no. Sit your ass down somewhere. No, no, you can't go. No. Oh, wait, you want to go? Okay, let me see their tag number. Let me see their IDs. Let me see how they look. Let me see how the car looks. Let me talk to their parents. Let me meet their parents. Let me have a conference with their parents. Let me see them at your school. Do they go to your school? How old are they? How tall are they? My parents were always asking all the right questions. And even though they were a little bit too strict to the point where it fucked up my mental health, I got to a point where I just stopped asking them. And I now realize as an adult that they were just trying to protect me from the evils and the dangers of the world. You know, a good example is even stuff like this. There are times where growing up, I would always see these flyers that say, help wanted, looking for teens, looking for young kids, paying you $60, $80, $100 a month. Free candy. All you got to do is work. You can make X amount of money every month. And a lot of times, a lot of parents and a lot of kids will fall for these kind of things, but it takes somebody having to die or somebody get kidnapped for a lot of people to wake up from these kind of things. Human traffickers are getting smarter, so a lot of times parents have to be as strict as they are now. And don't get me wrong, I get it. It's not as easy as it seems to keep your eye on your damn kid all the time, but you have to do everything you can to make sure you keep your eye on your kid, because the black market is real and they are making sure that they harvest as many organs from the youth as they can. Please be mindful that a lot of times when kids get snatched up and kidnapped, it's not always about sex work. Sometimes they want that kid's bone and marrow, they want that kid's kidneys, they want their colons, they want every single thing that's in that child, because children have the highest vibration. But then again, you can't really protect your kids or teach your kids anything if you're just sheltering them and caging them. You should be educating your kids and teaching your kids about the dangers of the world. They shouldn't have to find out through social media. They shouldn't have to find out through other friends, or they shouldn't have to find out when something negative happens. You should be teaching your kids how to say no. You should be teaching your kids how to turn the other way and how to walk the other way when they see something dangerous. You should be teaching your kids how to run when they're in danger, how to dial 911, how to call for help, all that kind of stuff. Also, do yourselves a favor and look up the local sex offenders in your city. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Look up the local sex offenders in your actual neighborhood. All you got to do is type in registered sex offenders near me or registered sex offenders, insert the state or city you live in. You can only mainly do this in America. I believe there's access to it in Canada and in many other countries, and like the UK or whatever, but you can actually do this in many of the states in the US. Look up registered sex offenders near you and look up the kind of shit that they've been locked up for. Believe it or not a lot of those people are molesters. A lot of those people are actual child traffickers. A lot of these people were in actual child trafficking pyramid schemes. A lot of these people were told, if you bring me X, Y, and Z child, I'll give you a couple $100s. A lot of these people served their time, or a lot of these people didn't even really do much time because of a lack of evidence, but a lot of these people were forced to register as sex offenders, and you can find out who exactly was involved in that kind of shit. So do yourself a favor and just look it up. You'll be surprised the kind of shit you'll find. Now, again, there's an actual website called the National Sex Offender Public Website that you can actually go on, and if you live anywhere in America, you can find out sexual offenders that live near you in your area. A lot of this is public information. It puts their mugshot. It puts how far they live from you. It'll also put the crime they actually did. A lot of these people are tied to doing lewd and salacious acts with minors, involved with minors, child pornography, and some of them are even involved with recruiting people for sex trafficking. And yes, a lot of these people are free and live near schools near your children. So there's a lot of laws that actually allow them to live within 8 miles at least within a school. Not too far, not too close to a school. So if you have children, I recommend every single one of you guys go on this website, or if you just want to protect yourself, check out this website. It'll literally give you every single sex offender all over that's registered in America near your address. It'll tell you how many miles they are from you, and all you have to do is just go on it and protect yourself. That's all I'm going to say. And it's also safe to admit that the only people on that list are people who touch children or are involved with children being touched. But I really want to stress this specifically because there was a recent situation that literally happened a couple months ago in a neighborhood in Milwaukee where a predator moved in the area and no one had any idea. So come to find out, this predator was actually snatching up neighborhood children all across Milwaukee and forcing them, right along with a lot of other evil people, to force these kids into human trafficking and salacious acts. Come to find out, word spread around this Milwaukee neighborhood, and people pulled the fuck up and fucked this house up to see if any of their missing children were in that area. And a lot of neighbors were actually pissed the fuck off because a lot of people didn't even know that this particular person lived in this area and was out here snatching up kids. And per usual, if it weren't for social media, the cops would have never found out.
Things quickly became tense after police had boarded up that property, and people in the crowd started smashing windows of the house that officers had boarded up, trying to break in there. Now, that house, according to people in the crowd here, is known as a sex trafficking house that they believe one or both of these two girls had been seen here a few days ago, and family members say that the girls have been found. I did interview a family member here on scene. They told me that the girls have been found by family this afternoon. Police, however, are not confirming. They say that that family has not gotten a hold of them, and the people here are still here upset, even though they've heard that these girls have been found, because they don't believe police have been doing their due diligence in these investigations, searching for missing girls now or in the past, and they also want all of these houses on the street investigated. Listen to what one had to say earlier.
If these girls went missing 2 days ago, where the hell was the Amber Alert? Because I never got one. I never saw one to my phone. I never got alerted about any missing kids. So where was the Amber Alert? This entire city is failing our black children, and that's facts. This entire city is, from the top down, and everybody needs to go.
If you actually look up missing children in insert the state you live in, there's always a missing kid, but you never get an Amber Alert. Let's be honest here. Most of us literally only get an Amber Alert probably 2 times a month, or probably once every 6 months, or at least 3 times a year. Most of us never get an Amber Alert at all. But it's interesting how if you were to type in missing children and you insert your state or county you live in, you would notice that you never get an Amber Alert for all these missing kids. Now, one thing I really got to speak on is there's this one particular method that a lot of human traffickers use on a lot of young girls. This is called the lover boy method that a lot of people use. I learned this in a documentary. But for the most part, a lot of grown-ass men will try to holler at young girls and try to coerce young girls into dating them, doing things with them, and then eventually they'll use that young girl as a way to make money. So that's why I always tell young girls in my videos, stay the fuck away from grown-ass men.
A good example is 14-year-old Diana Dudes. If you guys didn't know, Diana was a 14-year-old girl who's been missing in Cobb County, Georgia for the past 2 weeks. She's been missing since literally June 1st. And mind you, her parents have no idea where her whereabouts are. She lived in a gated residential community, and her parents let her go out for a walk, which makes no sense because they let her go out alone. Now, some way, somehow, she found her way out of the gated community, and some way, somehow, her parents assumed that she might have been with 2 boys that she met up with on Snapchat, which I'm confused about because how the hell her parents know her Snapchat password?
At noon, the parents of 14-year-old Diane Dodds need your help to bring her home. She left from her home in Ackworth Tuesday for a walk around the neighborhood, she told her parents. Well, this now makes 48 hours since she was last seen. She was wearing a blue and white striped t-shirt with khaki pants. Her parents say she may be with 2 young men she's connected with on Snapchat.
I would have never imagined something like this happening. Never, ever imagined something like this happening. So Diane, if you see this, please come home.
If you know where she is, here's another picture of her. Please share it on social media. Contact Cobb County Police. A CBS.
How the hell her parents know that she might have met up with 2 boys? You know, this is a little bit suspicious to me. This tells me that there's a possibility that this girl might have ran away, or if she didn't run away, there's a possibility that she might have got tangled up with some boys who coerced her into these kind of things. And that's why I say when it comes to parents, y'all gotta do y'all due diligence and keep an eye on y'all daughters and speak to them. You know, don't wait till they're like 25 or don't wait till they're like 18, 17 to talk to them about life, relationships, sex, boys, and predators. You gotta talk to them early. You can't just try to protect your kids from the evils of the world because you want to maintain their innocence. You need to keep your kids educated about this kind of shit, because this girl's been missing for the past 2 weeks and her parents have no idea where she is, but some way, somehow, they already know that she's probably with 2 boys. How the hell do they know that?
And her parents say she may be with 2 young men she's connected with on Snapchat.
I would have never imagined something like this happening.
A lot of times, human traffickers will sometimes be your own significant other. You'll be 14, 15 years old, dating a 25, 27-year-old, and a lot of times that dude will probably manipulate you and coerce you into making him some money because he's struggling, or how to get your own money because he thinks you're struggling. So he'll coerce you into things like prostitution, and he's really selling you, and believe it or not, he's really being your pimp, and you don't even subconsciously realize it because you think you have to do this in order to please this guy. You know, what's fucked up about the epidemic of human trafficking is that I noticed that a lot of people don't care, or a lot of people just don't talk about it. And it's kind of built like that for a reason. And the reason why a lot of your favorite celebrities don't talk about human trafficking is because, no tea, no shade, a lot of them are a part of it. The reason why a lot of your favorite celebrities don't really talk about human trafficking is because a lot of them, if you didn't know, were on Jeffrey Epstein's flight list. Jeffrey Epstein is one of the most infamous human traffickers in history who allegedly killed himself in jail via suicide by hanging himself. So that's why a lot of celebrities don't talk about it. That's why you guys don't hear about it in the media. You think that it's not a big deal because it's not forced in your face. So that's another video for another day. Not to be insensitive, but let's just be real here. Human trafficking needs to be talked about more, and it's kind of fucked up and annoying how we never really hear about it. If you're not going anywhere where there's security or there's police, you need to carry some type of protection. If you're someone that walks home alone, or you stand by the bus stop, or you're someone that literally walks to your car at night after work, you need to have some type of protection to protect yourself. Because let's say some bullshit happens, God forbid, and you have no means to protect yourself. Get a kitchen knife, get some box cutters, get some bear spray, get some pepper spray, get one of those little alarms that you yank out the yarn and it just literally rings loud as fuck. Get one of those things, because your protection and your safety is very valuable and is very important. Human traffickers are going to do everything they can to make sure they get access to you. Some of them even have like their own access to their own private internet. A lot of them don't even need data or Wi-Fi to access internet. Some of them have like their own little dark web where all they can do is just take out their phone and they have access to a certain portal where they have access to all these clients, these customers, and these rich people. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with P-Gate. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people who are involved with this whole P-Gate shit, a lot of them have their own private group chat, their own private email sphere where they can all message each other. And a lot of them use actual code words to disguise what they really mean.
So these are all the code words that were released to the public many years ago to describe salacious acts that a lot of people use when they're trying to engage with adolescents. So as you guys can see, there's hot dog, pizza, cheese, pasta. All these are code words that pedophiles have used on private forums, and the list goes on. Ice cream, walnut, green cheese, tomatoes, you name it.
So I really wish more people would burn down, rally, and, you know, burn down places that were tied to human trafficking. Like, what's that other place, Wayfair? It's funny how a lot of us forgot about Wayfair. How we forgot about how Wayfair was naming their furniture after missing children, and they were charging their furniture up most like $5,000 to $10,000. It's funny how we forgot all about that. And if you try to look up information about the whole Wayfair human trafficking allegations, it always says, it's been debunked, fact check. That's their favorite word. Google can fucking suck a dick. They're always on some fact check, it's been debunked. That's their favorite word, fact check and debunk. None of that shit's been debunked and none of it's been fact checked. Because if you actually look at the fact checking and you look at the debunking, it's always some biased bullshit that was obviously written by some college intern who's trying to shift the narrative to their personal opinion. But that's all I gotta say about that. Hope you guys gained something from this particular video. Understand, human trafficking is on the rise. It's not going anywhere. Protect yourself. Protect your damn children. Hide your kids. Hide your wife, because they're not coming after kids, but they're coming after your ass too. Don't go out too late. And remember, nothing good ever happens after midnight. So if you're leaving the house after midnight, you're in for some shit. Protect yourself at all costs, because human trafficking is not going anywhere. Oprah, the Clintons, they don't give a fuck, because most of them are allegedly a part of it. But that's another video for another day. that was that for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give your thoughts in the comment section down below. Tell me guys what else you guys want me to talk about in my podcast, my YouTube videos, what other documentaries you guys want to see. And yeah, that's that. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to go fuck up my Oreos and go the fuck to sleep. Troyce out this bitch.
'Cause I'm dreaming for you tonight till tomorrow. I'll be holding you tight, and there's no way in this world I ever been but you in my arms, and you in my arms, you and me. I just can't dreaming of you. Ooh, late night when you're all the ones dreaming, I could think of you, and I still can't believe I can't say I love you. I love you too, 'cause I'm dreaming for you tonight till tomorrow. I'll be holding you tight, and there's no way in this world I'd rather be with you in my arms till we can dream, you and me. Thank you. Follow me on Instagram.